Hey, I'm Marcus.
And I'm Nick.
We are working class nerds.
Cue the intro. That's right. We are Working Class Nerds, the podcast that gives you no information about your favorite information.
Today is Thursday, February 7th, 2020, and you can find this double episode in one day podcast on Apple Podcasts, Buzzsprout, Google Podcasts, and Stitcher. You can find me right now at this time and place. I'm in Disney World. But for everybody else, you can find us on Twitter. I am at MarcusB814.
I am at Nick Byrne. That's NICKVERN. In this week's episode, we're talking about the new consoles coming out from Sony and Microsoft that are due to be released this fall. Joining us is nobody. You're stuck with just Marcus and I. So, Marcus, what have you been up to this week?
Wait a minute. You can't just jump into that.
What do you mean?
It's console.
That's what I said.
Oh. I thought you said console.
What? I said it the right way. You can. Oh my God!
It's gonna be a terrible episode just for that.
There are three words at play here: console, which is what we're talking about. You can console somebody when they're sad. You can console them. You can also counsel somebody, like
what Doc does.
What Doc does. Yeah.
Okay, so the disclaimer here is, I'm in Disney World as you guys are listening to this right now. I am drinking blue milk, making a droid, and riding the Rise of the Resistance ride.
He's going to Disney World.
I'm going to Disney World. Mind you, I'm driving to Disney World.
That is the worst idea you've ever had in your whole life. Well, top 5.
Yeah, top 5. Well, I don't know that yet. It could be really fun. Anyway,
before we jump into this, what you should really do is there's a train from Virginia to Florida that you can put your car into. So as an emergency ripcord, you should look into that if need be.
No, that's weak.
I know, but hey, you never know. Or at least on the way back, man.
No. Negative, Ghost Rider.
Just saying.
Anyway, so you guys heard last week that awesome episode with Jackie Cow, and thank you so much, Jackie, for coming on the show. You're probably not listening to this now, but
thanks anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, so what have I been up to? So Death Star Troopers, Sunday Night Raid Team.
Mm-hmm.
We got stomped by the walkers in hard mode Temple of Sacrifice. There was a few of us that are learning the fight, a few of us that are in new roles, i.e. me, and it's just a balancing act of healing, DPS, and tanking. Something about the fight is you have to constantly be moving, which as a tank, I'm not really used to that as much. And I mean, you're really running all over the place because no matter where you're standing, it's always constant damage. I mean, I feel really bad for the healers in this fight because my health is full, and then I look down again and it's at like 13%. I'm like, oh my God, where did that go? And then I look at the raid frame and everybody's health is just going away. Yeah. And I'm just like, wow, this fight is really tough on the healers. Sorry, Kat. Sorry, Keone. But anyway, so I've been doing hard mode raids, and as much as it's fun, I miss my friends.
Yeah.
So I have a certain group of people that I really, really enjoy, and I'm being selfish in saying this. And since 6.0, I haven't really gotten to play with a lot of them because we've been so
focused on your hard mode stuff.
Yeah, and that's pretty much all I've been doing. So it was a random Monday night.
Mm-hmm.
I started popping in and saying, hey, who's around? Albus popped in, Balto popped in, Medulla popped in, Intisar popped in, Doc popped in, and it turned out to be a really, really fun night. And I'm sure I'm missing somebody. I think, yeah. Anyway, we had a blast. We did a full galaxy tour. We did Karaga's Palace.
Mm-hmm.
Then we did the Hive Queen. Then we did Torboros Courtyard. Then we went to the Colossal Monolith. And then to finish off the night, we did the World Breaker Monolith, which I mean, other than Karaga's Palace, they're all in story mode, but they are all single boss fights.
Yeah.
So essentially, we did 4 plus the 5. So we did 9 boss fights in a night, which it was really, really fun, and it was a lot of joking around, and it was the exact fun I needed.
Yeah.
You ever play a game and you're just like, I just need some fun, and not worry about it? And some of my friends were like, listen, you just have to do this sometimes. You don't always have to do hard mode or the hardest content that you can do.
Yeah, you don't have
every
to be
day.
challenging yourself always.
Right. And I actually believe it.
Yeah.
Because I have fun on Death Star Troopers nights. I really do, but it's different.
Yeah.
When you're dying all the time because you're progging and like progressing and like learning fights, it's different than just going in and winning and laughing with your friends.
Yeah. It's like paintball practice versus an event.
Right. And my Final Fantasy 14 tour is still going on.
Mm-hmm.
I've slowed down playing, which I haven't played a lot just because I've been so, I don't want to say the word burnt because that's not the word, sore. I fell down the stairs a couple weeks ago, and out of nowhere, this week has been brutal on my body, and it's sucked.
I'm rolling my eyes if you can
Yeah.
silently hear that.
But anyway, back to gaming, I did get a new motherboard, and my new power supply is on the way. So
wait, what did you get for both of those?
I have no idea.
Go grab the box.
No. So it's the Gigabyte Aorus Z390 Master.
Yeah, and that fits with your. You don't have to upgrade your processor or anything.
Correct.
You can just swap it
Yeah,
over.
because I don't think there's been a new generation of processor yet. I think it's still, mine is like current.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The next gen of CPUs hasn't come out yet. Anyway, I'm really excited for that. And then the power supply is a Corsair HX100i or something like that. It's 1,200 watts. Everybody says I'm crazy because
that's way too much.
Yeah, way too much. But I'm just like, listen, I don't ever want power to be a problem, so I overdo.
Yeah, like
actually,
you got to be set up for when you.
I
get your second Titan.
I'm not going to do that. Here's the story though. I really have been pressuring Nick to buy a desktop so I can donate. I'm doing the quotation marks.
Yeah.
The Titan to him and some of the other parts, so that I can get an upgrade.
Wait, do you have a Titan XP or a Titan V?
Titan XP.
Yeah.
The Titan V is like $3,000.
Oh, that's too much.
Yeah, it's not worth it. I'd buy a 2080.
I saw
Ti.
a meme about it was like my brain at home, and it was the new Quadro or whatever from NVIDIA, and then I was like, so then it was
that's
one
a
of those,
processing. That's
for like
work.
video
Yeah.
stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, not for gaming.
Yep.
But it's and then it showed like progressively worse cards, but it made me go look up what the hell that was, and then a video was comparing the two different Titans to that, and blah 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 blah. So
well, okay. Do you know what RTX ray tracing is?
Yeah.
Okay. My card doesn't have it, and you know me. If I can't play a game on Ultra, it bothers me.
Yeah.
But now there's this ray tracing, and I see the difference in what these games look like with and without it.
You need the Titan 5
well,
V or whatever,
or a 2080 Ti.
Yeah.
I wouldn't like. I saw this graph before about computer gaming, and when you're younger, you have like not enough parts to really play the games.
Yeah.
But you play on your computer the most. And when you're an adult, you have the money to put all the parts in, but you play
a quarter of the time.
Yeah,
right.
exactly. But I really, I enjoy it, and I haven't touched my computer in a couple of years, and the whole reason why I'm doing this motherboard thing is because when I shut it down, it doesn't shut off, and when I turn it on, it doesn't boot anything. Like the lights turn on in the case, the lights turn on the keyboard, but the computer does nothing. So it's basically I'm just turning on lighted fans with all the RGB lighting and stuff.
That's weird.
Yeah, so everything that I've researched and tried, I've unplugged everything, replugged everything in. I've done this and I've done that. I shook it all about. I did the hokey pokey, and it still is messed up.
Yeah.
So personally, I'm hoping that it's the power supply but
You think it's probably the
well,
motherboard?
I don't know. So I bought both parts. I'm going to change it. Well, I'm going to change one. I'll probably change the power supply first, see if it fixes the problem. If it does, that means the motherboard's good. Then I can switch the motherboard, and Nick gets a motherboard, and now he just has to buy a 9700K CPU, and he will be good to go to start.
Right.
And, yeah, it'll be the beginning of his desktop. The other side of that is it's really frustrating because sometimes, like, I'll come down the next day and the computer's still running. Like, it's not actually running. Like, the computer's actually shut down. Because, like, if I hit enter to, like, wake it up, it doesn't wake up.
Yeah. But it's, like, got lights on and stuff?
Yes. So it's...
That's weird.
Yeah, it's... like, I want to... I want to figure out the problem, and it's been a thorn in my rear because, like, sometimes I have to turn on and off my computer, like, 10 times before it'll boot.
That's bizarre.
Yeah, so it's clearly there's something wrong.
Right.
But anyway, so that's that part of what I have moving forward. But I'm excited for Disney, which I'm already there when you're listening to this. I'm not taking my laptop with me.
That's exciting.
I'm going to completely disconnect. Well, I say that, but I'm taking my Switch.
That's you gotta have a little something though.
Well, the kids go to bed at like 8 o'clock at night. I don't
Yeah.
care how tired I am from
The parks.
yeah, the parks. I'm going to be sitting out on the little like veranda
Yeah.
playing on the Switch because I'm going to need to like
Yeah. Do you have Mario Kart?
mm-hmm.
You can play if you want to with other people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe Julia would want to.
No.
Daddy Switch.
Yeah, like and
I'm with ya.
okay, so I lost a Joy-Con, so I bought
Oh boy.
All right, so the story is I bought the Legend of Zelda Joy-Con. It's a left Joy-Con.
Okay.
But when I bought the Joy-Con, because I liked the way it looked, I can show you after, Nick.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it until I read the package and I opened it and put it on, that it's not wirelessly capable.
Really?
So it's basically just a clicked-in version.
That's weird.
It's dumb.
Why would that even be a thing you could buy? You know?
Well, it's to make money.
Yeah, that's silly. That's like some of the controllers that they came out with, the full-size controllers. You know, you have your Pro controller, which is nice and wireless and everything, and then you have the wired version that's not, which is like $30 or something. Wow, that looks great, though.
It's awesome.
Holy crap.
Right. It's an awesome, and I like it because the D-pad is better.
Oh, nice. Let me see.
Yeah.
Let me hold it. That looks great.
All right, so anyway.
Is this expensive or not too bad?
It's $20. But I wouldn't waste $20 on it because
it only works clicked in, yeah.
Right, it only works clicked in. So, but now I'm going to bring you back to the blue Joy-Con
Right.
because I have the colored version of the Switch.
Right. Blue and red.
Yeah. Well, there's only one stock color. You
No,
can
there's
buy
that or
you
gray.
can buy the new the black the colored or the dull.
Right,
That's-
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Gray isn't really.
And then you can buy the
gr-
upgraded Cosmo
right.
and Wanda, but
Right, but the the gray is color. Don't get it wrong, but it's not colored.
yeah, it's not like
Vibrant.
yeah, that's like I know what you mean.
So anyway, so I gave Ryan the other Joy-Con because he plays games with me
Yeah.
and
Pretends to play.
pretends,
Yeah.
but I can't find the Joy-Con now.
Oh, it got flung somewhere.
Yeah, it's totally somewhere, but I don't know where.
Yeah.
So disclosure, I'm going to throw Nick under the bus. He has a bag of granola sitting on the thing, and his hand keeps going to grab the granola, and I'm like, no, you can't eat while you podcast.
No, especially not granola. So if it was like oatmeal or something, or like yogurt, you don't have to chew. Like I could get away with a bite of that, and you wouldn't hear it.
Yeah, but if you're
But,
eating
like,
yogurt, you're going to hear
Oh yeah, but I could do that away from the mic.
Yeah, that's true.
But like even if I'm chomping granola, you'd hear like. So anyways, you'd hear me do it off mic.
So into the Switch now, I've been playing Pokemon Sword, and I'm really, really enjoying it. And for my birthday, I got Pokemon Shield.
Wow, that's sweet.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, you know why Nick is saying that? Because he's like, well, give me Shield. Like, you're still playing Sword.
No, and I realized I forgot to say happy birthday on your birthday. Oh my god, I'm worst cousin ever. Well, happy late birthday. You're super old.
Doesn't It doesn't count. It's too late.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
It's like a week later.
Yeah. Anyway, so the last I talked about it, I said I was like 8 or 9 hours in, and I didn't do the first gym. Remember that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now I'm 10.5 hours in. I straight up stomped the first gym.
As I said you were going to.
But I'm really rusty on turn-based combat.
Okay.
Okay. So at the last fight, I had one of my weaker Pokemon out because, like, they ask you if you want to switch.
Yeah.
Like in the gym, like the gym leader's throwing out like multiple, one after another you have to fight, right?
Yeah.
The last one was close to my level, and the Pokemon that I had, because once you commit to that Pokemon, you're with that Pokemon until it faints.
No, you can switch them mid.
No, not once you're in the battle.
Yeah, you can switch.
No, you
it just
can't.
takes a whole turn.
No, you cannot. So
Did they change that?
Wait, maybe. Let me explain. So let's say I'm playing against Mashup. Okay.
Yeah.
It asks me before the fight begins with the new Pokemon. Gym leader's throwing out Mashup. Do you want to switch Pokemon or stick with the one you have?
Right.
You click stick with the one you have. So now for that fight, you're stuck with your Pokemon until
it faints. See, in previous games you could instead of an attack, you could switch out, but that would be your turn.
You can do that in like the wild area.
But you couldn't in the gym leader?
Well, you can't. It's like they're forcing you to make this decision.
Oh, that's weird.
Which is sweet.
Yeah.
I think so, because it's like, okay, are you going to roll the dice that you have, 45 of 65 HP?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or do you want to bring out a freshie fresh?
Yeah.
But anyway, so I made the bad choice with the...
You left somebody out there, yeah.
Well, I left somebody out there that wasn't a good match for what was coming.
Right.
Like, it was a grass Pokemon, and I threw out a grass.
And you already had a grass one out there or something?
Correct.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so it was actually tough, even though I was a level or 2, but what I just am hitting attack move, when really you got to hit them with like an attack or a defense dropper,
right? Then
hit them with the attacks, because it actually
it makes a difference.
Well, it does make a difference, and that's what I'm learning as I'm progressing in the higher levels.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, I'm 10.5 hours in, and I'm through the first gym. But now I'm starting to see like Pokemon that are actually like stronger and damage me more.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I'm out of that intro area. And
you actually have to use like your type matchups and stuff like that.
Well, right. It's actually the progression of the game is pretty sweet to teach you how to play the game.
Yeah.
So pretty much it's been Pokemon or SOTOR. I didn't play much Final Fantasy 14. The map in it sucks. Anyways, Nick, what have you been up to?
So, believe it or not, I have not been playing either Call of Duty nor The Outer Worlds a whole lot. So, as I said in previous episodes, it's not that I haven't been playing games. I've been playing games. With my dad being laid up from shoulder surgery, I introduced him to Fallout 4, and so So after he sort of struggled to play, I think I helped him through like 2 or 3 like 2-hour sessions or something, and then I was like, you know what, I kind of want to play. So I hopped on, and I think in like 4 hours I got to level 11.
Is that a lot?
Well, and my dad was at like level 6 after like 6 hours.
But I feel like once you play a game,
you like know what the hell you're doing, yeah.
Right? And you're not exploring as much as you were.
Yeah, well, I can explore. I can get through the areas, but I'm doing it way more efficiently. Like I know what the heck I'm looking for and what items are important and what aren't. So like my dad will go through and like, he might pick up every single thing he comes across. Whereas I know to like skip something that's not important and only find like the glue or things that are actually relevant.
Sure. Well, exactly.
It's more efficient, I guess.
Yeah, you're more efficient because you've already explored everything. So you know that going this way is a 10-minute walk and it gives you jack and shit.
Right.
Where if you go this way, it's a 2-minute walk. You get what you want and you move on to the next quest.
Or I can even get through a room quicker because I know where to look.
Actually, it's funny as I took him to my shop and he was bitching about Fallout, going, "I don't think this is my type of game," but I'm playing it.
He's playing. Yeah. He's. It's complicated. Like especially in this Fallout where, all of the settlement building stuff and the gun upgrading is a little over his head.
Sure.
But for the most part, I think he'd enjoyed it. He likes the fighting and things. I think the exploring and fighting part of it he likes a lot. But I think just the sort of some of the extra stuff, it's a little complicated.
Well, I think that's, for me, I don't think I'm going to, play a Fallout again because I know it's not for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think you can skip that. Like, you can appreciate, like, for me, a game that's sort of like that is like The Witcher. Like, I can appreciate The Witcher, but it's too, I guess it's complicated in a way that I like. It's just not for me,
Well, I think if you didn't have a game to play,
yeah, that's
because
true.
like your game graveyard is growing,
right.
You know what I
Things
mean?
I got to play. Yeah, no.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the hardest part is because you. Okay, what you're finding. So when you're in college, you have, I want to say, more time to play because if you finish your homework for the week, that's all you have to do for the week.
Right.
You're done.
Right.
Like, okay, I got to study tonight for 2 hours, but I have 8 hours prior to that.
Right.
Shadow of Mordor, right?
Right.
All the time in the world.
Crank or Fallout 4 when I played it the first time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Where now you're schooling it and working.
Yep.
And girlfriending.
Yeah, and like house work stuff. You know what I mean?
Just living.
Yeah.
In your gameplay time.
It all comes into gameplay, yeah.
Well, right. So you're coming to be like me.
Right.
Or like if I have 6 hours a week, what game do I want to play for that 6 hours?
Right.
And say with you, so like maybe in your eyes, you're like, oh, now so you just got sucked into Fallout 4 for 6 hours or 4 hours.
Yeah.
But now you're going to go back to the Outer Worlds and play that for 6 hours. But who's to say the next week you don't play Overcooked 2 and Mario Kart with Mariana?
Right.
Or FIFA.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then like it could be another 3 weeks before you get back to the Outer Worlds.
Exactly.
And that's where the game graveyard grows. And that's why I don't even look at my Steam library anymore. I just refuse.
Yeah,
and if I get a game at Steam, I let it be in like the new games section. Like I don't even look up because it's so disappointing. On
how many games you have?
The Steam sale is the worst thing ever.
Yeah, because it sucks you into games you're never going to play, and that's how they get you.
Well, it's because I want to play them.
Right.
I want to play these games. But before there was SOTOR, there was Call of Duty.
Right.
And why do you need to play any other game? You know what I mean?
Right.
I do like Apex Legends a lot, but what's really frustrating is they don't give you enough ammo, like the clip size.
Yeah.
And I hate that. Like I hate like getting somebody to like almost dead and you have no bullets, so now you have to reload or switch guns.
Right.
I hate that. I mean, I understand that's the whole like mentality of it.
Right.
Like you need to be better at shooting your gun. If you can't kill somebody with one clip, then you suck and move on. But
right.
Either way,
that's So I was gonna say.
I just have one more thing on Fallout.
Sure, go for it.
Do you find that playing Fallout 4 for the second time, it's as good as you thought it was the first time?
So let me answer that in 2 parts to pull a Musco card.
That's a great question, Steve.
That's a great question, Steve. Let me answer that in 2 parts. So, first part, when I first started playing Fallout. So Fallout 4 is interesting. So it's set in Massachusetts, so I was automatically super pumped about that because none of the other games are set in Massachusetts, and that's obviously where we're from. So I was pumped about that, but I knew ahead of the game that they had taken out a lot of the RPG elements, mainly because you have a voiced protagonist. So like all of the weird dialogue options that would pop up in the previous games, you can't. It's way more work to voice every single one of those, and so
it's more like a BioWare game.
It's no, even I think BioWare games there's more choice than in Fallout 4.
Okay.
So you have 4 options, but they're all basically like in every interaction you come across, a lot of the time, even though they might be different, they all lead you down the same path. So like for example, on your directional pad, you have like, I'll say put in Xbox terms, B is always a negative option. A is always positive. X would be, or square if you're on a PlayStation, would be
neutral.
No, either neutral or sarcastic, and then the top one is questioning. So no matter what, those are always your dialogue options. But unless you pick the negative option, all of the 3 other ones always give you the same response. even to your
I understand
sarcasm.
that. Yeah,
So like
I understand that.
so like although you have options on what your character can say, it's not an actual branch in the conversation tree. There's really only two paths. It's like don't talk to them with the that negative option, or you can say different stuff, but it ultimately doesn't lead to anything. And the same is true with the story. Like no matter what you do, there's like essentially the same ending. There's no there's sort of multiple pathways to get to the same ending, but there's not multiple endings. Like the tree branch sort of starts in one spot, it branches out, and then it all comes back to the same ending, which is a little frustrating too. Like if you have all these different choices, I want different things to happen,
Sure.
So from originally, all of those things combined. So like I was really hyped about the game, slightly disappointed about them taking some of the RPG stuff out, and then going through and playing it was fun. But then at the end, after I finished it, I had some sour grapes or a bad taste in my mouth because I started reading reviews, and as people realized, hey, there's not really multiple endings. It's you basically end up doing the same thing no matter what you pick. So I was pretty negative about that, and then that's when I replayed New Vegas and was like, wow, this is really great. I wish Fallout 4 was more like this. So now replaying it the second time, I'm recognizing that there is a ton of positive in this game too. Not just the negative things that I had to, like, in my head highlighted. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean.
Like, the setting's really cool. All of the buildings really cool.
So
They expanded some stuff and took stuff away.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. So it's a give and take. So, like,
Yeah.
you still can enjoy it because you enjoy the series and you enjoy the changes that they made,
Right.
but you also miss the old stuff
Right.
where choices actually mattered.
Yeah, I agree.
Which I can completely understand that.
Yeah. But from now playing it the second time, it's almost like I'm seeing it with fresh eyes and, like, taking it with a grain of salt, like, and just enjoying it for what it is,
I do.
rather than, like, wanting it to be something that it's not, and then letting that jade, the rest of the playthrough. It's almost like people, like, viewing the new Star Wars movie. Like, you just view it for what it is and take it in stride, or you can lament the fact that it's not what you had in your head of it going to be, and let that just be all negative about it.
I'm not going to say one word.
Okay.
I'm
Well,
not stirring that pot.
but the analogy still stands,
No, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well, just like fucking horses on a ship.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
yeah,
at the
like
same
you
time,
can take it for what it is, or
Right.
you can just be negative about
I
it.
saw. Okay, see, now you started this fucking.
Hey,
Well, it's fine.
when you stir the pot, you start cooking something.
All right, so I saw a meme. It said it was Princess Leia going, "Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope." And the next frame is Obi-Wan, and it says no. And then the next frame says, "Thanks, Ryan Johnson." Anyway,
that's awesome.
Nick, I've been meaning to ask you this.
Uh-huh.
You listen to any good podcasts lately?
Besides ours, hey,
You actually wait.
no.
I don't like. I'll listen to like just the intro of ours, just so we get a play.
Me too. I'll listen to 5 minutes.
But
or
like,
whatever. I do not go back and re-listen to all of these.
unless I laughed my balls off during the show
Yeah, and then you go
with a guest.
and you go find that spot.
Well, no, and then I'll listen to the whole thing because it'll be actually more funny to me because it's most likely me saying something really stupid that is triggering me going, why am I such an idiot?
Yeah.
But have you been listening to podcasts?
Yeah, all the time actually. I of course sprinkle in Joe Rogan. I don't listen to every episode like I used to, but I like pick and choose.
Yeah.
Like
Lex Friedman.
I listen to Lex Friedman.
He's the man.
I like Lex Friedman. I like Tom Papa too. That came out today. He's like a comedian.
Yeah.
That like bakes bread as a hobby, which he's just like a wholesome guy.
Sure.
I'm trying to think. I like all the science ones. I always listen to whenever he has like a doctor on or something.
What other podcasts do you listen to?
I listen to a lot of soccer ones. So the Blood Red podcast. A lot. I also listen to. You're gonna be disappointed. I listen to a lot of soccer podcasts. So I play Fantasy Premier League too.
Well,
so it's like fantasy soccer.
Well, so then that makes sense because if you want to win.
Yeah. So I listen to one called Always Cheating, which is really good. And they're American people talking about it who play FPL, which makes it a little easier because like they come at it from a like, hey, no one else around here likes soccer except for us, but we're the only two weirdos, which like I can relate to, And then another one is FPL, like which stands for like fuck my life FPL, which is basically it's interesting because those two guys are always like, damn it, we're just so bad at this. And they're talking about how terrible they are about it at the game. And like, they're like, I did bad again this week,
for
but
FIFA.
I'm trying. No. FPL is Fantasy Premier League.
Okay.
So let me just give you a rough idea how it works. It's almost similar to when you build your roster in
Well,
DraftKings.
no, I get it. I understand fantasy soccer.
Yeah.
I get it. No, that I understand. I just didn't know what FPL was.
Yeah, Fantasy Premier League.
I'm out of the loop.
See, you can play fantasy like other leagues too, but the Premier League is the most popular in the U.S.
Well, it is the best.
It's the best league. I agree.
Either you could say the Spanish league or the Italian league.
No, it's not. The Premier League's the best. They have the
Yes.
best talent. They're the most competitive. Like the teams
And-
always.
if you're in the bottom two, you're gonna get shipped to semi-pro.
Yeah.
You're out of the Premiership.
You're ruthless.
See you later.
Yeah,
Next.
it's gonna be probably Watford this year. Yeesh.
Anyway.
West Ham. Who is in the bottom now? I gotta look.
I've never listened to or read the Harry Potter books.
Wait, can I finish? I listen to a lot of podcasts.
Oh, go ahead.
So also, congratulations, Chris D'Elia's podcast is hilarious. If
Who's
you like
that?
he's a stand-up comedian.
Oh.
Your Mom's House, which is Tom Segura and Christina Pazsitzky's, they're two comedians, husband and wife combo. They talk about, you would like that show. They talk about some vulgar, ridiculous things. And then Pro Football Talk for American football. That's more or less it. So you were saying you never read the Harry Potter books,
Right.
but
I ran out of Audible stuff, and some of my podcasts weren't doing the feed, so I just listened to my first ever Harry Potter book.
the first one,
Yeah, Sorcerer's Stone. Ever.
Yeah.
Like, never read one, anything, and
what'd you think of it?
it was actually good.
It's like engaging, right?
Yeah, it was actually really good, and the voice acting for Audible is really good. I don't have time to read. I barely have time to do much.
Yeah.
So if I have a choice to play a video game or read a book, I'll choose the video game and listen to the Audible version.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to get into book 2. Stay tuned for that. But podcast, notable mentions for me. Obviously, all my fellow SOTOR podcasts, Max and Seema and the Escape podcast, the Utini Cast, and us were pretty much it. Something I love, disclaimer, I love supporting new podcasts.
Yeah, me too.
So there's a new one called The Ebb and Hawk, and
Oh, it's a good name.
yep, it's all about the Old Republic.
Mm-hmm. Whose
Yeah.
ship is that again? Ebonhawk? That's
my-
someone's ship from the Old Republic. It
Is
might
this
be
for real?
might
It's
be-
Revan's.
Okay, that's what I thought.
So
Jeez.
anyway,
I got yelled at.
they talk about Knights of the Old Republic, KOTOR, and all things Old Republic. It's actually it's good, but it's nice to hear somebody starting off, because if you listen to our first episode,
Oh my god, it's so bad.
it's so bad, but like where we've come, and I like supporting new podcasts. So if you're listening, Eben Hawk,
Keep it going.
yeah, they're cranking them out, and I'm enjoying it. Anyways, in SOTOR news,
BioWare gave us an update for 2020 from Keith, which reads, "Hey everyone, happy 2020. It's been a little while since my last post, and I wanted to kick the year off with a bit of an update. Before I do, I really want to say thank you to everyone who stayed with us and have joined us to play SOTOR. It's been very exciting to see so many players on beginning and core worlds participating with older expansion content and joining us on Ossus, Onderon, Mexshaw, and Corellia. I continue to play the game a lot, as I believe it's vitally important to have the same type of experiences as our players. This enables me to leverage what I learn, which helps guide future changes with our game. I know a big question on your mind is what's coming next, so here's a quick look at my thoughts on what's coming soon and in the future. So tomorrow, the Embarm Patrol Tauntaun will kick off as a February sub-reward. Be a subscriber at any time before February 29th, starting tomorrow, and you will have the Tauntaun waiting for you in your in-game inbox.
it is pretty sweet.
The Tauntaun?
Yep.
Game Update 6.1. Many of you had the chance to check out the Alderaan Stronghold and the upcoming class changes on the PTS. and we really appreciate the feedback you provided. I'm happy to announce, barring any emergencies, that Game Update 6.1 will launch on Tuesday, February 11th. Game Update 6.1.1 and 6.1.2, our next 2 game updates, are currently scheduled to be pretty quick on the heels of 6.1. You should expect to see updates in the next couple months after 6.1 is live.
That is not on the heels of it.
Yeah, next couple of months is not hot on the heels. I thought like 2 weeks later or something.
We're going to power through this because here we go.
So they will include some new quality of changes. Quality of life changes for conquests, more class changes, master mode ducks in, and more. Stay tuned to the PTS for details. Next bullet point, 2020. The team is working on a lot of exciting things for this year. We will really have a big focus on quality of life, updated stories, PvP improvements, and much, much more. We want to ensure your time in SWTOR is very enjoyable by having plenty of activities, goals, and rewards. Star Wars Celebration. Right now, we are also looking forward to this year's Star Wars Celebration. We are planning to have a cantina there, and we'll love to see you all in person. We'll have some cool announcements, swag, and many SWTOR developers available for you to meet. 2021, SWTOR's 10th year. This seems like a great target to work towards doing something major. ... More to come, of course, but I wanted you to know that we're already starting to plan out the next few years. Again, thanks for playing SWTOR and helping us make it an awesome experience for so many new players. Respectfully, Keith. So, Marcus, you have a whole bunch of thoughts on this.
Well,
in reading between the lines.
Well, no. It's so. Personally, I'm just going to say I don't like the no roadmap idea.
Okay.
What I like about a roadmap is it says, okay, fall 2020, expect game update 6.5 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Even if it's vague, it gives you something to target towards. What I've read from this is fluff, and more fluff.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're working on stuff where it's not going to be all fluff of 2020, but to me it feels like 2020 is a fluff year moving towards their 10. They're going to go, in my opinion, they're going all out for their 10-year anniversary.
Yeah, that's probably true.
You know what I mean? And which I understand that because 10 years that's a big fucking deal, right?
Yeah.
We hit 50 episodes on the show and it was like, wow.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing here?
Freaked out. Yeah.
Right, exactly. For me, I was on Utinicast
last week?
Yeah. And that's when this came out. And it's frustrating to me because they told us a bunch of stuff, but they actually told us nothing.
Right.
If you read that through, I'm really happy for the Nightmare Raiders because they're getting Nightmare Ducks in.
Mm-hmm. Which they've been waiting for. I'm
really happy for the Space Barbies who really are excited for a Stronghold. I could give a shit about
the Space Barbies.
Well, it's true. In Doc during his dissertation, they did a study and most people care about being a Space Barbie, like dressing your character up in whatever outfit you want and doing that is a huge part of this game.
Yeah.
If not maybe the biggest.
I hadn't heard him say Space Barbie before.
So
I think that's perfect.
Yeah, and
it's true.
So for me, I have the Strongholds, but it was just to get a conquest bonus.
Mm-hmm.
But the new Stronghold, I'm not going to buy. I have zero interest in spending time in game to decorate it.
Yeah.
But then there's Intisar, great friend of the show. He loves the Stronghold, and he makes it there's no rush to decorate it. So he takes his time and does it slowly, and it's just something as I'm going to use the word filler. So and it brings me to the point of I feel like 2020 is just going to be a filler year for the game. Mm-hmm. I foresee that the middle of the year content is going to be another Dark versus Light event of some sort, and that's how they're going to fill us through the summer and into the fall. And in the fall, they're going to announce, the 10-year anniversary expansion, which will carry us through 2020 to 2021. That's my guess.
It sounds essentially like they're gonna do a bunch of filler things, and while some staff is actually working on big things for 2021 or something.
Yeah, and they talk about quality of life. One thing that I would love to see is operations scaling.
Yeah.
So if we had 9 people, we can go into a, quote unquote 8-man, and it would adjust to 9 people, or a 16-man, and it would downscale to 9 people.
Right.
So no man left behind kind of mentality.
Yeah. Or if you have like 12 people and
Exactly.
same thing. Or,
16 person.
Or 7 people, it'll downscale
Exactly.
a little bit
Yep.
for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or 4 or 5 people, and it downscales
To that.
Yeah, like maybe the minimum is 5, which I'd understand. And maybe the minimum is 12 for 16-man, whatever it is. I'd really like to see that, because that opens up a lot of doors for a lot of different people.
Yeah, and maybe even if, like, I don't know, say you do an op or something, if you don't get the achievement unless it's a real 16 or 8 or something.
Well, I think, I don't have that answer. I just think that would be really awesome for them to.
If you could just allow play through it in some capacity, I think that'd be cool.
So the one thing that was not talked about,
Mm-hmm.
and we were talking about it big time, they didn't talk anything about the story stuff coming. And we were on UtiniCast, and it was during the day, and there was no comments on that. And then, like, the next morning, Charles dropped this big
update about story stuff,
which we're not going to read that.
Yeah.
But he dropped some, but
it basically said like,
well, it says a lot. It basically says there's going to be closure to stuff that has been looming in the background for a while, and he basically said that the Emperor, Tenebrae or Valkorion, is not the main antagonist moving forward.
Right.
They're not going Rise of Skywalker on us.
Well, that's refreshing.
Yeah, exactly. So for that, it's thanks for giving us that update, but I still feel like it's fluff.
Yeah.
But last week,
mm-hmm.
which is actually tomorrow, but it's last week for you guys, was
Mega. The
our
monthly Epic Guild activity on Friday to February 6th.
last week.
Yeah.
Well, it's just
It's actually
tomorrow.
Friday. It's February 7th, not the 6th.
Oh, yeah, so it's tomorrow. Anyways, we did SEMA San Diego. I'm going to shout out to Lucy for all the help. Even though I'm in Disney World right now and we've already done this, or we haven't done this yet, but thanks, Lucy, for all the help. I can actually say the planet that we were on.
Right.
We went to Balmora.
Whoa!
And we
can't believe you picked Balmora.
And we hid SEMA at the Grandfather, which is one of the world bosses, but I have no idea who won because it hasn't happened yet.
Right. But when you're listening to it, someone will have won, and congratulations to that
them.
person. Yes.
So if all this
sounds fun to you, go to aie-guild.org, jump in the Discord, and ask for a guild invite. Whether or not you play SWTOR or any of the other games we play, we'd love to have you. And we really do mean any of the other games. Including
really,
Pokemon.
Well,
Marcus is a good trade partner. He's got both games now.
Yeah, so I've been talking about it, and maybe nobody plays Pokemon.
I mean, I'll play Pokemon. I just don't have the game yet. I can go buy it though.
Why would you buy one when I have both games now?
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like a mooch.
To borrow a game?
Kinda.
No, because once I beat Sword,
we can just swap.
Yeah, and then as soon as I'm done with Sword, I'm gonna make you give me Shield. So like,
then
that'll pressure you to play it.
Yeah,
but
race to the finish.
Yeah,
dude, don't get me started on a Pokemon game.
Why?
I go hard at Pokemon.
It's so
dude. When I went on
it's so relaxing and it's so much fun. Like, you can explore a little bit, and like, what I like is I always talk about the quick fix.
Yeah,
it's a complete quick fix game.
That's not a good idea.
Because you can go, like, if I want to do one battle, I just run up and boom, I'm in a battle, and then, oh shit, I gotta go.
I go hard in the paint on Pokemon, dude.
Yeah, it's so good.
I downloaded an emulator on my phone for vacation, like on the beach.
I remember that.
Yeah, and I just I beat the whole game, like, before. I think we were there for like 7 days or something. I think I beat it in 5.
Well,
because like all my downtime was just like, oh, we're lounging over here. Might as well play some Pokemon. We're lounging over there. Play some Pokemon.
So that's why
we're having drinks. Okay, great. In between, a little bit of Pokemon here, Pokemon there.
And that's why I love it because it gives me that quick fix.
Yeah.
Anyways, Nick, you got to pee?
I sure do. So we'll be right back.
Jeez, Nick, hurry up. We're trying to finish this podcast.
And we're back. So this week we're discussing the new consoles that are coming out this fall. So talking about the PlayStation 5 and the new Xbox console called the Xbox Series X. So there, just to tell you right off the bat, there is a Nintendo Switch 2 that's in the works, but that's not coming out in 2020.
I heard it's just a Switch Pro.
That's basically, what they're doing.
I'm guessing it's going to be a better resolution screen, better frame rate, probably a better processor.
Longer battery or something.
And the battery.
Nothing major.
I saw a leaked picture of the Joy-Con, which the thumbsticks were a little bit bigger and the Joy-Cons were a little bit bigger, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I would like that. So
the reason why we wanted to talk about this because, the console war is starting to heat up. And
once again.
Yeah, and it's a great conversation piece for Nick and I because I love the Xbox. I love the platform. And Nick loves the PlayStation because he's been playing the PS4.
Right.
Because you were an Xbox guy before that with the Xbox 360.
Yeah, and I've actually gone back and forth. Like I'll get to which of the two in this upcoming I would prefer, but originally Nintendo stuff first. I got a GameCube and then PlayStation 2, and then Xbox 360, and then PlayStation 4 here. But I really, between the Xbox One and I prefer an Xbox controller first of all. So no argument there for me. But the only real reason I got a PS4 over the Xbox One was just because more of my friends had a PS4. So I'm really not super duper loyal. But I will say I'm happy with the PS4 purchase, down the line. Even though my initial sort of motivation was only because that's what my friends had, but the exclusives for the PS4 definitely were better than the Xbox. So I'm the jury's still out on what I'm going to get going forward, but I'm not opposed to either. So first things first, you want to talk about their names? So the PlayStation 5 obviously is straightforward. I like that. It's easy to keep track of what the hell's what. I like straightforward naming. But the Xbox Series X is a little stupid, I think. I think it's too convoluted.
It's an Xbox. It's I don't think they need numbers. I don't think.
Yeah, but I want to know what the hell's what. Like,
you're gonna
have Xbox Series X Pro and then Xbox Series X. It's just like too many things.
It's the last console of generations. It's the end.
You think this is the last one, and then it's all going to be PC?
Well, it's all going to be streamed or digital. It's everything changes after this.
Well,
I'll get more into that because Xbox. So right out of the gate, go ahead.
I was going to say no. That's a good point because I know Xbox is coming out with the Series X, and then they're also going to have this other console that's just going to be super underpowered and basically just so you can stream stuff.
Well,
like, dude, that's
I didn't hear
that
about.
Cloud gaming.
Well, yeah,
but that's not coming out right away.
So Xbox is actually PlayStation is on its own pedestal right now.
Yeah,
because they have. So PlayStation does have a bunch of exclusives now with the new console. I don't know if all those exclusives are going to stay. Clearly, the God of Wars, the Final Fantasies. But
the Spider-Man type games.
Right,
yeah.
but we don't know that because Final Fantasy 14 is coming to Xbox. So that exclusivity might be over. But what I'm saying is the PlayStation did have some cool exclusives this year, which to a console gamer, that might have made a difference in your purchase because if you God of War was beautiful. It was awesome. I didn't beat it because I played it twice, but Nick did, and the game is beautiful. If you had a Xbox, you weren't playing it in this generation.
Right.
Straight up.
At all, yeah.
Right. So, but what I am absolutely in love with about the PlayStation now, here's the best part, and this is why they may not sell the most units.
Yep.
But if you have an Xbox One, you will be able to play with the Xbox Games Pass and stream it every single new Xbox game on your old system.
You're talking about with the Xbox Series X.
No, yes.
You said PlayStation.
Oh, I meant the Xbox Series X.
Yes.
You will be able to stream all of the new games
right
via your Xbox One.
Right.
So guess what? If you don't have an extra $600 or whatever it's going to be,
Wait, really?
yes, all games will be streamable through your old console.
Wow.
Okay? So let's say you,
Okay.
Nick, you're in PA school or whatever school
Yeah.
you're in, and you don't clearly you don't have the money to go buy
It's
it.
rewarding
but
brand
but you have an
loyalty,
Xbox One that you paid, $100 for,
Right.
and you paid $10 a month, and you can stream all the games you want. That makes a difference.
Yeah.
They're winning that war.
Yeah.
Because really what Xbox came out and said it. We're not worried about PlayStation. Like, PlayStation, do your thing. We're going after Amazon and Google's business.
Right.
And because Amazon and Google are going to be jumping the gun on the streaming service,
Right.
for the game service for gaming, the Google Stadia right now might not be the greatest thing ever, but
It could be.
Well,
There's-
it bothers me to think like this, but I think streaming games is the way of the future.
Right.
Like, I don't think we're going to be downloading them onto a hard drive anymore.
Yeah, you're just gonna stream it.
Right. And as much as I don't like that, because right now, if Nick and I wanted to play Mario Kart on the GameCube, we could pull out the little disc that he has, plug it into the TV, and play it.
Right.
But you can't do that.
If you're streaming it,
Correct.
you need to make sure you have
Like,
an
the
internet
servers need to be up.
Right.
The servers need to be up. Like, who's to say these games are going to be around forever?
Right. But a disc will be around forever.
Correct. In a
As long-
system.
Yeah, as long as the equipment's fine. Yeah. That's a good point. I did not realize that. I think you mentioned it on a previous
Right.
episode, but I kind of forgot all about
But
it.
the next side of that is, I'm a PC gamer.
Right.
Every game that comes out for the Xbox Series X will be available via their Xbox Games Pass, and you can play it on your PC.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure. Oh, no. And available through the Microsoft Store.
Right.
So guess what? Like, whatever game comes out for the Xbox, I can play it on the
Halo.
PlayStation. Whatever.
Yeah.
Any game that comes out, I can buy in the Microsoft Store and play it on my PC.
Right.
That to me is worth a lot, because now I'm a PC gamer. Let's say you aren't a PC gamer, which
Right.
you're not.
Yeah. Not
well,
much.
not by choice, but you're going to be able to play with me
Right.
in the same ecosystem, not using like a third party ecosystem like Call of Duty is.
Right. That's pretty sweet, man.
Both systems, I think, are backwards compatible to all their games.
Yeah, so no, this is where the Xbox Series X. So let me take you through it a little bit. So for technical specs for the Xbox Series X, I won't run you through everything, but basically they're looking at like 120 hertz frame rates, some crazy new processor from AMD. It's supposed to be twice as powerful as the Xbox One X, which that'd be pretty awesome.
Well, of course it's going to be.
It's got to be because
Technology, since the Xbox One came out,
Yeah,
the
that was Xbox One came out obsolete technologically speaking.
when it
And
was released.
Yeah, so the Xbox One X was like a correction essentially.
Correct.
So like it being twice as powerful, that gives them a little bit of future proofing. So that's good. It says potentially they could do 8K resolutions, which like okay, whoop-de-doo. Just do 4K fine. You know what I mean? That doesn't do anything for me.
I don't know how they're going to do it, because my computer is dope as shit.
Yeah, and that struggles with it, right?
Well, I get in between like 38 and 50 frames a second on a new game.
Right.
Not like SOTOR, but like, and my video card is dope.
Right,
My
yeah.
computer is a powerhouse.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I don't know how these computers are going to be able to handle 8K rather than
4K or something.
or even 4K at 120 hertz. Maybe that's the way of the future and they figured it out.
Yeah, I don't know.
But anyways,
But so they have they're going to be able to do ray tracing, which is pretty sweet. SSD for a storage system,
which
great.
they needed.
Yeah, and then you can do. It's compatible with all of your Xbox One accessories, which is pretty sweet. It will still have a physical disk drive, which
Has
I
to
like.
still.
I like. Yeah, I don't like downloading games. I'd like to have a disk because I'm old fashioned. And
But are you ready for just streaming?
no, I like a disk.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna be a grandpa about that too. But what's sweet, compared to the PS5, this is back. So the PlayStation 5 is backwards compatible with all PlayStation 4 and PlayStation VR games. So like the previous generation.
Mm-hmm.
but it's not backwards compatible with stuff before that, whereas the Xbox Series X is backwards compatible with all previous generations of Xbox consoles. So the original giant Xbox, it can play stuff from that. The 360, it can play stuff from that. All the Xbox One games, it can play stuff from that. So any Xbox game from whatever generation, you can play it on this new one, which that is fucking awesome.
Well, right, and you can play it on your PC too.
Right.
Like, you don't need this system to play it.
Right.
And the backwards compatible and all the old games, they're going to run better.
Right.
I'm not saying they're going to get like an HD remix of all of them, but you're going to be able to play all those games that you used to play.
Yeah, like
the original Halo when
Yeah.
it came out on the Xbox. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
everything. And it's just... and personally, Microsoft is a computer company.
Right.
Sony is a console company.
Yeah, or like just a broader. They don't make PCs.
Right, but that's what I
Yeah.
mean. So everything that the Xbox is doing, they're realizing they're not going to sell the units
Right.
of systems. But what they're going to do is they're going to make money on everything else.
They're selling like the Xbox brand essentially.
Yes, they're making the ecosystem for the future.
Right.
So eventually, they're going to have a mini PC that's going to be the Xbox system that you're going to stream from. It's going to be a console, but it's not going to be the consoles of like 2020.
Right.
It's going to be the consoles of 2040 or whatever.
This Xbox Series X already looks like a tower. It's built. Have you seen photos of it, Marcus? The Xbox Series, it basically looks like a computer tower now. It's not like a box. I don't know if you've seen photos of it. I'll put them in the chat after, but it basically it's.
Oh yeah, I've seen it. It looks awesome.
Yeah.
It looks like a computer tower.
So they're basically doing that now. You know, I'm pretty excited for it. So, in terms of tech specs, the PS5 they haven't come out with explicit things as much as like the Xbox has, but it's gonna have SSD, also 3D audio, supposed to have 8K TV support. I don't know if that's true for games or not, but and then the backwards compatibility with PS4 stuff. So that's fine, but not having the backwards compatibility all the way back is pretty weak in my opinion. But in terms of price, the Xbox, there's no firm details on either of those either, but the estimates are putting it at a little over $500 or so for the Xbox Series X, and the PlayStation is, like, they did an interview with their CEO, and they basically said that they don't want to announce the price until after Microsoft does, so that they can decide whether or not they want to undercut it, essentially. Which, like, that's kind of interesting.
Well, I think it's smart. Well, at this point, I think cost isn't going to matter, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be $500. Everybody knows Xbox Series X and the Pro when they came out were $500 or $400.
Yeah.
I mean, you know it's going to be $500.
Yeah.
And for me, if the Xbox is $500 and the PlayStation 4 is $450,
it's not going to make a big difference.
It's not going to change my mind. I'm going to buy the Xbox just because.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But for you or somebody else that isn't
it might
really,
make a difference. Yeah.
Well, it might mean, I don't mean financially. I mean just like, you're like, well, PlayStation has, like, the exclusives weigh out the Microsoft ones.
Right.
So Microsoft, in my opinion, before this system gets launched, they need to announce that they have a ton of exclusives.
Right.
Because if Sony's going to drop the hammer and be like, we've got God of War, we've got this,
Tomb Raider, we've
got this, we've got that, we've got this. And, if there's 10 exclusives on launch day that are coming to the PlayStation and Xbox says they have one, well, if I was a normal gamer,
right,
console gamer, I would buy the PlayStation.
Right.
Because I'm like, well, you know what I mean? Where
somebody who's like using that as a more complete package might buy the Xbox for like other stuff, you know?
Right. Like, there's no question that Xbox Live is a better system than the PlayStation Online service.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Because it's basically a computer system.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's a full entertainment system.
Right.
Where the PlayStation's,
it's all like disconnected.
Well, yeah, it's fine, but it's not a computer company.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Xbox Live is based off of Windows 10.
Right.
You know what I mean? Where Sony's is just a video game service and they offer apps. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I guess for me now, I'm hard to say that if it's going to matter for me
Mm-hmm.
because right now, honestly, like I love having the flexibility of the Switch.
Yeah, like the Switch is great.
Right. And I love my computer. So I'm getting almost the best of both worlds, but where the Switch fails is it's a handheld at the end of the day. So, I mean, like The Witcher came out this year. The game came out 4 years ago on the PC.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, or whatever. I'm probably just
You spitball. It's close
Yeah.
enough.
well, whatever. Or Overwatch. You know
Right.
what I mean? Overwatch is on the Switch.
Yeah.
That's just a money grab in my opinion.
Yeah, it's
Because
not.
it's not great at all.
No.
Everybody that says they say it's terrible.
Right.
But it was just like, hey, we can put this on the Switch and make, a few million extra bucks and we don't have to do much.
Right.
Where then there's games like Breath of the Wild where, graphically they look good, but imagine if Breath of the Wild was on a PlayStation 4 Pro or an Xbox One X.
Right.
You know what I mean? It would be incredible
Mm-hmm.
the way it looks, and they'd be able to do more voice acting
Right.
instead of,
Yeah, but that's how all Zelda games are. There's no
Well,
never been voiced.
but
Your point still stands.
yeah, the next generation could be all voice acted,
Yeah, that's true.
or whatever.
Right.
Something else about this whole console war that is intriguing is I'm watching the internet go crazy. I've been watching Reddit, and a lot of it is like 10 reasons why the Xbox is going to win, 10 reasons the PlayStation's going to win. And it's interesting to read these editor points on it
Right.
because we don't all know everything about it. And we both know that both systems are pretty much going to be the same specs on the inside
Right.
because they're both going to put in the highest end
Stuff they can
stuff
find.
they can get for a console.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so the hardware version is going to be relatively the same.
Right.
Software, it's going to just come down to what you're more comfortable with buying.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I feel like the PlayStation's going to win because the PlayStation 4 is so successful.
You'll have like carryover. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't see how. Well, it's like an ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
When smartphones first came out, you tried an Apple, you tried an Android, you tried an Apple, you went to an Android. Now you're locked into your iPhone.
Right.
Can you imagine now going
Switching back? No.
and getting a green text message?
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it sounds so stupid, but that is like 40% of the reason why I won't buy an Android phone. Because an Android phone is a better phone than an iPhone.
Yeah.
Some of
yeah,
them.
like a Samsung or whatever.
Or whatever it is. Most of them are better phone. They have better screens, better everything. The technology's better in them.
Right.
But I do not want to send a green text message.
No, that's terrible. when you
And
get that.
I'm sorry, FaceTime is dope as shit.
Yeah, it just works better.
Right. Where if you've been playing on a PlayStation 4 for the last 4 years, unless Microsoft drops a hammer that says, hey, the granola game is coming out on the Xbox only, and that's the one game you've been waiting for,
Right. Yeah, maybe you do. Yeah.
you're going to shrug your shoulders.
Right.
And you're going to be like, ooh,
Yeah.
I'm going to buy an Xbox.
Right.
But unless that happens, you're going to be like, I'm going to buy the PlayStation because I have all the backwards compatible games that I've been playing.
I can play the PS4 stuff still. Right.
Well, I can play the PS4 stuff, and all my friends are already there, and it's going to be an easy transition.
Right.
Because I remember when my friends were going from the Xbox 360
Yep.
to the PlayStation 4, they were like, this is terrible. I don't know anybody. I don't know where all my friends went. I have to, like, go onto the Xbox and hope some of them are still on there and, like, put it out there in my title that, hey, if you have a PlayStation name, please send it to me because I'd like to continue to be friends with you. So
Right.
people don't like change.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just thinking about that too. I'm like, man, maybe if I wanted to go back and play Fallout or something, if I got the PS5, I could just put it right in the PS5. And even that controller, that Astro controller, Z40 or whatever it's called.
A40.
A40. I think it is A40.
I don't know if that's going to be compatible with the new PlayStation.
It says it supports the The article I read says that they support the PSVR hardware, so I'm hoping that external hardware would work.
It's a Bluetooth controller.
Right, so I don't know.
Well, it might work, but it might not have all the so rumor mill.
Yeah.
I heard that the new PlayStation's going to have the N64 button.
N60. What do you mean?
The Z button.
Like a third stick in the middle?
No, underneath.
That's what I mean. Oh, I already have it underneath?
Yeah.
Oh, that would be good.
Well, but it's a rumor, right?
Right.
So is that...
Because that's my favorite part, is having a button underneath that I can hit. Like the controller has, I basically have circle, or B, if you play Xbox, mapped to underneath so that I can crouch in Call of Duty without taking my
on the
finger
flappers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Underneath.
Yep.
Or your Z button, same thing.
Yeah, but there's no, like, those are the paddles. I'm saying like an actual, like, remember the N64 controller?
Yeah. The Z was in the middle.
Yeah, underneath.
Right.
Like the third stick, yeah.
Right.
It's going to have an extra button that it's never been there before.
That's what I'm saying. That Astro controller has those too.
Oh,
Underneath.
okay. Yeah.
Not the triggers.
But those are mapped to the current buttons.
Right. This would just be additional.
Correct.
And so I'm looking forward to that too. Like you can put stuff there or whatever.
Right. So that's going to be this is going to really heat up well. And I'm glad we're talking about it because it's actually getting me excited. So I love when it's a new console generation because now it's going to push PC gaming to the next level.
Right.
So the way it works is when a console comes out, the PlayStation, the PC's graphics are leaps and bounds better.
Right.
Right. And then by the end of the console cycle, they're usually close to neck and neck of quality.
Yeah.
Right? Obviously, the PC is always going to beat a console, but the graphic quality grows. Like the PlayStation 4 Pro and the Xbox One X quality of, like, the visuals, they look fantastic.
Yeah.
Obviously, but it's closer to what the computer looks like, a PC looks like,
right,
than it did back in the early stages of the generation.
Right.
Where now, when the new generation comes out, the PC and it are going to be really, really close.
Yeah,
and then the PC,
especially if it's got ray tracing, like.
Well, right, it's going to be better than my computer.
Right.
And now then it's going to push PCs to go through the roof, and that's what's going to create the next generation.
Right.
And I'm eager
to see
for that because that means I get to upgrade my computer.
Right. That's sweet. It's an exciting time. I don't think it's going to be a resolution increase. I think it could be more of like a frame rate or like smoothness of play increase. You know what I mean?
Well,
or like maybe like facial mapping stuff will be more detailed. You know?
I don't know.
It's interesting.
Well, when is E3?
June.
Okay, so I'm guessing something. Well, PlayStation's not at E3.
They're not?
No, they don't do E3 anymore.
Oh, okay.
They didn't last year. It was the first time ever. So then I'm guessing that at E3, that's when probably Xbox is going to drop.
Like their exclusives or something?
Yeah, like the hammer on it.
Right.
But I think like the sad part is I don't think we're going to get all the info because kind of like what Sony's like, well, we're not going to release our price until we hear what Microsoft's doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's going to be kind of like we're going to show some of our cards, but not all. So Xbox is going to drop the hammer like, oh, we've got X and these games. And then PlayStation's going to be like, well, we have more. And then Xbox is going to be like, well, we have more. You know what I mean?
Right.
I feel like it's going to be a tough year because we're voting for a president and getting a new console.
I know. I'm stressed.
How's the world going to survive?
I don't know. I got to pick one of these two, or I could just be baller and get both. That's too much money.
I fixed the problem.
You just get a PC?
Yes.
Yeah.
So here's the other thing too is, Nick, if you get a good laptop, you can still like just plug it into your TV or take one of. I have a 27-inch monitor right there. You can have.
Yeah. What? Why?
We're in the transition of throwing shit away and moving, And so now there's it's
You
out
have a
here.
third not used monitor.
Yeah, take it. I mean, even if you used it now, just putting that on your desk.
That's what I have a crappy monitor that I do. I have my desk and another keyboard, a
But
mouse.
it's a crappy monitor.
Yeah, I would like a better monitor, but I don't have one though.
And then do you have and you have a nice keyboard, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
It's-
but again,
I could use a nicer keyboard, but I haven't gotten there yet.
are you still using the Logitech that I gave you?
Yeah, the
It's
one with the
awesome.
orange everything.
Yeah, that fucking laptop. I mean, that keyboard's awesome, but it is out of date. Anyway,
Yeah. It
but-
doesn't. It's not mechanical.
well, it's not that I love. Still to this day, I love that keyboard. But I'm gonna
I'll give
be
it
honest.
back to you when I upgrade.
No, once I give it to you, it's yours. I don't need any more PC junk. But so I use I have actually. You could probably use my 910. I had the Logitech G910 Spectrum keyboard forever. I got bored and
Changed it up.
and I've only ever bought Logitech.
Yeah.
Ever. And I recently made a switch to Razer, which I've heard a lot of bad things about. But let me tell you, I don't care what any of you say. My Razer keyboard is the most amazing keyboard I've ever used in my life.
Really? What do you have specifically? Do you remember?
No.
No.
A good one.
Yeah. Whatever they're.
Well, whatever it is. And
yeah.
it's unbelievable.
What's so different about it? Like the feel of the keys.
Well, the feel of the keys, the way they click. I don't know. It's super duper comfortable. I'm absolutely in love with the keyboard. Now I still use a Logitech gaming mouse. an MMO mouse for my mouse. But
I have a Logitech mouse too.
Well, right.
Actually, this one I'm using right here is too.
But
I have a lot of Logitech accessories.
I love it all. Well, it's because a lot of your shit came from me.
That's true. Well, no, the mice I bought myself, but the headphones
headset.
I use are.
Well, your original
Logitech.
mouse was from me.
That's true, but
Yeah.
then it just shit the bed
Yeah.
between your 4 billion Call of Duty hours with it.
Yeah, there's many trigger pulls on that.
Right.
But what I was saying is, the PC. So now, how about this? You're going to spend $500 on a console, and then or you spend just on your laptop, and then you can play all the new games anyway.
That's true too.
And I have a feeling that this console generation, other than the, like the game exclusives,
Mm-hmm.
I have a feeling they're all going to be cross-play.
That's true. Yeah.
Because like that Call of Duty thing works, and it's good.
Yeah. The only thing, my only bitch is there's no integrated cross-platform party chat system.
Well, there is. We just didn't figure it out.
No, there's not.
Oh, so like the only time you can talk is during the match.
Yeah, it's like in-game chat.
Yeah, but that's why there's Discord.
Right. Yeah, but
but
there's
see,
no
for-
Discord app for your console though.
There isn't?
No, so every time I was talking,
Wait.
there's no Discord app on PlayStation
What?
or Xbox. I looked it up.
Really?
You cannot. Maybe there is for Xbox, but there's not for PlayStation. So for Al and I were trying to figure it out. You can't do that. So how we were talking is Al and I had our laptops next to us with earbuds in our ears, and then our gaming headsets over the top of them, so we could hear the game sounds. It was a pain in the ass.
Right.
So, yeah, cross-platform's great, but the whole point of it is so that you can talk to your friends who are playing on other systems. If there's not a good system for that, well, defeats the purpose, Because like that was fine for like the few times we played, but I don't want to be doing that all the time.
Well, they've been asking for this since
2000 something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you want to be able to talk to your friends.
Well, it says there's workarounds.
Yeah, but there's no real app for it.
No, and it's really
That's an issue. I think that's what I'm looking for.
and and maybe in the new systems that's like
Something they can do.
well, no, maybe it just comes on the game system.
Yeah, Discord. is
Well,
available.
I don't see why not because
They have other, like, you can put, I remember, I don't think it's there anymore, but I remember you could get, like, Facebook on your Xbox, or, like, you can put Netflix. Like, why not have Discord? And it's like, it's the same thing as running party chat in the background. Like, you just run your Discord chat in the background. And then you just are muted on the voice. It's the same, you're already doing a lot of the same jobs when you go into a party on whichever system, just have the same functionality in Discord.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I think I really hope that you can use Discord or some third-party chat like that apps in the new consoles. That's what if one of the two has that and the other don't, that's probably the one that I'll buy.
Right.
Well,
no, for
so
sure.
then I can play games with you. You know,
absolutely. But I just think you should just buy it.
PC. I probably will.
What are you guys talking about in here?
Find out next episode of
Working Class Nerds.